All right, guys. What a day! What a day! This is Christian from Tribeca Trade Group. Today is Wednesday, July 25th. S&P finishes up 80 basis points. The Qs finished up 1.4%. IWM finished up in the green too. That was actually struggling a little bit. Was actually negative around 3 o'clock today. So. Holy cow. If today isn't enough events for you, then I don't know, and enough excitement for you, I don't know what is. Just a ton of names reporting. Plus, you have the Trump and Juncker announcement coming out. You've got a drug announcement from Biogen. Just holy cow with the amount of new information that's on the tape today and the move today. I'm completely and very happily shocked at today's move. So very nice. I came into the day, and I'm happy to tell you where I made mistakes and where where I did very well. So I came into today and I was wearing some BABA calls, so weekly calls. And I didn't ride this all the way to the top today. I was basically out for a double from where my cost basis was yesterday. I also came long, in long ATVI as well. I forget if I went over this in the video yesterday, but I just wanted to buy basically something that I was trying to buy on the dip yesterday, and so I bought some ATVI weeklies. I was also in two different trades in BABA yesterday. I had sold put spreads 2 days ago, and I bought them back yesterday, and I actually bought them all back yesterday, which was a little bit of a mistake on my end. So I said, you know what, I think BABA can go higher, and I bought calls yesterday. I had to add to them at the end of the day, and I was wearing them into this morning, and I got out of them today. But what a move! Up 4.7%. And I actually sold them in here, so I missed this big move. I'm long stock in BABA, so I'm okay with that. But after this move yesterday, but another testament to probably should have had a left a runner on for this one. But I was very pleased to be able to kind of get out for this and double my money from yesterday. So it would have been a whopper of a name. But like I said, I own it in cash. Notice that we're coming right up to the bottom of value, but just a gigantic move into this. And really, this was your best performing sector. Before I go in, and I don't know why I'm starting with this, maybe starting with the best performers, but it was pretty much, you could see like from the day, and it's crazy because I thought we had a lot of reversal bars yesterday, but it's a testament to whenever there's a little bit of weakness in momentum, buyers come back in. They come back into internet stocks. They come back into software plays. I went over the IGV, talking about a reversal bar in that yesterday. So, we could kind of button this up a little bit. What basically neutralizes a reversal day? When the very next day when price takes out levels. So I don't know if you could say that we had that in the software ETF, but if you kind of go through, look at names like Adobe. Adobe looked like a bit of a reversal bar yesterday too, but it comes right back to a 52-week high. So that cancels out a lot of that reversal signal that we saw yesterday. So again, just tremendous price action. Adobe was one name that I got long a couple days ago looking for like a breakout to 52-week highs. I stayed in it yesterday. Kind of pouted and so forth, but really nice move today up to 52-week highs, up 2.2%. And again, I was listening to somebody, I won't name any names because I never want to do that, but somebody was saying, I don't know why people like the cloud plays so much. And I think it's really just because small businesses and businesses in general are so strong right now. I've talked about this a couple times, but the small business optimism. Sorry, I can't speak after today. Long day. Small business optimism has been breaking out to record highs. So that froth, that momentum that small businesses have, and they're spending. So that's my reasoning for why names like Adobe, Salesforce, Workday, why these names continue to get bought into any weakness is because that's the case. And like I said in yesterday's video, which again I don't mind admitting that I am wrong. I would have thought we would have gotten a little bit of a rest, or maybe at least a 2-day move down in some of these areas that showed reversal bars yesterday. So It's pretty impressive, I would say overall, that just buyers come in whenever these stocks are down. I think I was talking about GoDaddy yesterday too. GoDaddy, had a reversal bar yesterday too, and it's like almost forgotten. Wix, by the way, look at the candle in Wix. We were talking about Wix pre-market, which had earnings, and the numbers were really good. And I said, hey, this would be great if it comes into the 50-day moving average. And it was there for like a blink of a second today. So you really have to kind of make up your mind and buy something. So that brings us to today's earnings, which I'll get to. Was there anything else really to kind of go over? I'll go over today's option activity and where we saw the buying. But going back to BABA, we saw call buying in BABA, aggressive call buying in BABA now 2 days in a row. Another name, I might as well spend a little bit of time on the Chinese internet names because they perform so well. This JD, which we talked about in the morning in the trading room, really nice support in here. And I kind of posed the question. I said, who likes this JD? It seems like every time it comes back to this level, I mean, it's been a dog, in terms of not being able to break out. But it gives you tradable ranges. I mean, this is a pretty decent range from 36, from where it last was, 36 to 45. By the way, look at this VPOC taken out. Another testament to how well these VPOCs work. Rose right up to that, like a magnet, as I say, virgin point of control. Again, what is a virgin point of control? It's where there's a lot of buyers and sellers, a lot of volume that previously has occurred, but prices never return to. So it kind of like works as like an unfilled gap. So it gets filled, and then it reverts sometimes, which is what we saw there. But a nice move there. Also, a few other names in the space. I would say Baidu. I put on a trade looking for, we saw a little bit of Baidu calls today being purchased. And I think this is a candidate for a possible run into earnings as well. It's been moving sideways like heck. So I think they report on the 31st or the 1st. So you've got, I think I calculated out 4 days. So I put on an August trade looking for this name to kind of run into earnings for Baidu. So that's a little bit what I did today. Before I get today's earnings, take a look at which I view as very, very positive. I'm a global investor. I like to play. I certainly like to buy more things than what's just in the U.S. Through ETFs. And look at the volume today in some of the emerging market ETFs, as well as EWG Germany. But this you can't really make too much of, right? It's an 8-cent order. That was an opening trade, so I don't know. Maybe somebody's speculating. December 53 calls. It's a pretty far move, but for 8 cents, I don't know. It's $400,000 in premium, but this one was a buy right, so you really can't count that one. It usually means that stock is trading against it. But this was a nice trade. 27,000. This traded a standalone. August 46.5 calls. So some nice buying in emerging markets. I took this trade in FXI today. I thought this was a nice looking trade for 46 cents, and you've got time on this one. Going back to this EEM trade, it's August, right? So it's very short term in nature. This one, FXI, you need a big move. I think I calculated it out earlier, was about I think you need about a 10% move, maybe a little bit shy. I'm not going to calculate it out right now, but notice you have a VPOC up here at 48. So again, plenty of time, 48 calls, pretty far out of the money. But I think you can get there. Keep in mind, FXI, roughly 50% of the FXI ETF is financials. There's banks and there's insurance companies in there. If you want something more that has more technology exposure, a little bit more, it does have the Chinese internets in here along with the financials, is MCHI, right? A little bit different structure. I know everybody talks about FXI because was the first China ETF out there, but a lot of it is financials, and it's pretty concentrated. I actually prefer this MCHI, and I've been holding this in cash actually through this pain. So nice move today. So I got a little bit rewarded in that today. But that, and then look at the EWG trade that they put on. Right at the close today. So again, not a huge trade. They're going short term. They paid what, 18 cents for these. So it's a $180,000 trade. It's not huge, but still good to see that we're seeing some buying in other places than the U.S. I would love to be buying more things internationally than just in the U.S. All right, so let's start talking about a little bit of earnings. Before I do that, here I'll just go over some of the trades that I did today in the room, which I do try to give a little bit of a flavor so that you could see that the type of trading that I'm doing today. Here was the BABA that I did. Was able to get out of that, like I said, by the end of the day for a double. ATVI, again, I didn't even wait till the end of the day. I was happy to get out of that for profits, even though I think ATVI went much higher. Boeing, I took a shot in Boeing, just a one lot. That's it. I was able to get out of this for 16 bucks today, so just a quick 500 bucks, on a trade. Caterpillar, once the announcement came out that Juncker and Trump were making progress, I bought some weekly Caterpillars. I got out of these for literally about 5 minutes later for just about a double. So that was my little day trade of the day. I did buy a couple things, so I'll move over to earnings now. But so you could see quite a nice day. I think for Tribeca Trade Group members, just a huge day as well. But let me get to the big one, Facebook. We have a separate channel in here for earnings. I faded Facebook. I think for most of what I talked about in the midday session really worked well. I thought that Facebook has run up. Some of these names they run up too much into earnings, right? So I went out and I faded Facebook because again, similar to Netflix, which was up 100% going into earnings for this year, I thought whatever numbers they come out with, it's probably going to sell off a little bit, unless they come out with something to just knock your socks off. That the price has to come in a little bit. I'm actually surprised. A couple other names, Visa's actually I think up on the day now. They reversed. They went lower to higher. I think there's some pretty good announcements that came out after the close today. So I'm not going to go over all these, otherwise the video would be a half hour long. ALGN, I think this name also, in the case of ran up a little bit too much into earnings. They've actually come back. They had good numbers. I did buy a couple things after hours. I bought some ServiceNow. I thought this was a gift for this stock to be down because I didn't think it was all that high like a Facebook. I don't think it ran into earnings that much. Let's see if I can bring this up. I think AMD is out. So they came up with 631 versus 618. So they beat on the top line. They beat on the bottom line, 49 cents versus 43. They also raised their top line guidance. So I bought some at 179. I know it's a high price stock, but I went ahead and just thought it was a buying opportunity. You could see it's come in enough. This is not going to show the where the stock is now, but the stock's in here. So to me, that's a perfect place to buy. So I went ahead and bought some of that after hours, as well as PayPal, which I think PayPal had pretty good numbers too. But again, I mean, PayPal is blown out to the upside. So it pretty much gave you anything and everything that you were looking for in terms of if you were a long holder, right? I mean, a huge gap up here, which definitely looks toppy. I still bought it in the after hours because I think PayPal is a name for the future. Chef of the future, name of the future. They had 58 versus 57. Adjusted EPS 53 to 55. They authorized a $10 billion stock buyback authorization, and their guidance was a little bit low. So maybe a slight miss, I would say, for PayPal. Still, this is a name that I want to own. I bought a little bit at $88. Could drift lower. Whenever I do something like this, I was actually going to buy 100 shares. I actually just bought 50. And leave myself plenty of room in case it takes a little while to kind of regain its footing. Again, I think it looks very toppy in terms of that daily chart. Xilinx had a good report. They're up to 74. There was a little bit of call buying in some other names today, so you may see a follow through move by some other groups. Let's see what AMD is doing. I think AMD just came out. Wow, AMD is even up, which I thought AMD is also kind of toppy looking too. This one I just stayed away from, did not play this one. So let's say what they did. They beat by a penny, 14 cents versus 13 cents. Second quarter revenue, 53% to 1.76. So strong numbers. Strong to quite strong for AMD. Another name that I think maybe to keep an eye on tomorrow, which is down. I know it says their CEO, which I don't really know too much about their CEO, so I don't know if that's perceived as a bad thing. But Gilead, I thought, had really good numbers. 191 versus 156. I don't know what else you could be looking for in these numbers. 5.6 versus 5.2. So I guess maybe he's pretty regarded pretty highly, but I think this Gilead is probably a good name to buy on the dip. So we'll see for tomorrow. I did not buy that one. I want to read a little bit more about Gilead. Their numbers look really good. So that's it for today. As you can tell, I'm super psyched the way today went, especially after yesterday. Holy cow, was that a tough day yesterday in regards to the way things were moving in the beginning of the day and just turned on a dime. So really nice strength in the overall market. And, it's also, I think, a positive in regards to the trade talk. That's kind of been a little bit of an overhang of the market. But hey, this is what I said at the end of the day. I said, because I pretty much took a lot of targets, took a lot of profits at the end of the day because, I really don't think that this overall, the market has been doing pretty well with, regardless of what is going on with the headline risk. And so if I've kind of ignored it on the way in, I'm going to take advantage of it as they're starting to say that they're making headway into it too. So that's it for today's recap. Great day. I'll see you guys back in the morning. Earnings season, again, finally seeing the light at the end of the tunnel with all these names reporting. Earnings season is not a favorite time of the year for me. I think it's, again, very difficult to swing trade during this time of the year. I look forward to, it sounds like all these buyback machines are going to be back on probably in about a week. And we'll see what happens to the market once these companies start buying back shares hand over fist. It could be pretty exciting. All right, guys, have a great night and see you tomorrow.